that you do it on purpose. Sing like a singing on key. Talk to the girl that intimidates you. Pretend that you're brilliant and charming. I said pretend that you're brilliant and charming. Hey!
Welcome, everybody. Welcome into your Saturday night. It's Later with Jason Suel. We are glad that you're tuned in. Bo, it is fall.
It's, yes.
And the temps outside are saying it's fall. It feels great. You got your Halloween shirt
ready.
on.
Hey, Can Do Hardware. Shout outs to Grab It.
Yeah.
What a weird store.
But you love it.
I love it. I love it.
You know, you do something big at on Block Street, because it's Nightmare on Block Street. At
Nightmare on Block Street. It's going on right now, all October long.
Yeah.
We're just crushing it. It's the only Halloween pop-up bar in the state of Arkansas. Actually, in many states. Most people go, oh yeah, Christmas pop, but nobody does Halloween because Halloween's actually harder to pull off.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it so long, and it's a lot of fun.
Your bar is just so fun. If you haven't checked it out yet, you gotta check out what Bo has going on there.
And we're gonna film an episode down there.
That's right, totally. Hey, we got a great show lined up. Let's talk about this one specifically. Yeah, this one. Because guess who we're bringing back from last season? She was a hit, and she's joining us again all the way from the West Coast. We got Rachel Bell joining us.
Rachel Bell's coming back. Awesome. Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
She does a podcast called Your Last Meal, where she talks to celebrities about what they would have for their last meal. It's a lot of fun. And so we're going to get a chance to visit with her again.
That's awesome.
Here's what's awesome. Cafe Rue Orleans.
Oh.
Marty Schmidt.
Speaking of last meals, it would probably be something out of Marty's kitchen.
Yes.
Oh, we've got her back in the studio?
She's going to join us in the studio. Her food's always great, and the smell that she brings when she makes her food in studio is just, it just makes your tummy rumble.
Or when she lights the studio on fire.
That has happened before. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Yeah, and then we've got our musical guest tonight are The Rumors, a band, and the music video was filmed by our great friends at Lens Audio at Foxtail Distillery. So it's a packed show.
I heard a rumor it was pretty good.
I heard a rumor that this show is totally worth sticking around for. We've got it all crammed into the next 30 minutes. Stay with us. It's happening later. We're here at Sam's Furniture, and we, on Later, want to thank our veterans for their service and remind you to get it at Sam's. Onward!
I don't need keys.
Remember, get it at Sam's and tell them Jason sent you.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. We are joined now all the way from the West Coast. We've got Rachel Bell joining us. If you don't know her, she is the host of the podcast Your Last Meal. Rachel, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us.
Yeah, thank you. It's so nice to talk to you guys again.
Yes, I know. We had you on last season. You were such a hit. We had to bring you back. So for folks who didn't catch that episode, maybe haven't listened to your podcast yet, tell us what it's about, Your Last Meal. What's the nature of that show?
Yeah, so Your Last Meal, we just celebrated its 5th anniversary. I can't believe my little baby is in kindergarten. But every episode, I interview a celebrity about what they would choose to have for their last meal. So everyone from Oscar-nominated director Greta Gerwig to astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, fashion designer Isaac Mizrahi, Ken Jennings from Jeopardy, the list goes on. And then once I know what their last meal is, I bring other people on the show to talk about either the culture, the science, or the history of that food. So for example, and we kind of just take it wherever it takes us. So when I had Ben and Jerry on, I learned a fact that I had no idea about that I think is so fascinating. It's Ben, I believe, is anosmic, which means he can't smell and he can't taste very much. What? So when they were developing the ice cream flavors, he would say, I don't know what flavor this is, so put more texture in. And that is why Ben and Jerry is so famous for having all those chunks in their ice cream.
I feel like he needs a flavor for COVID people that still can't taste and smell, and just like have a fun COVID Ben and Jerry's flavor for all of those people.
That is a fascinating bit of information, Rachel.
Yeah, and what you said actually, so the side guest on that episode was having a COVID doctor on to talk about, losing your smell. And there's actually another side to that as well, where some people not only lose their smell, but their sense of taste alters. So things taste like gasoline or urine and gross things like that, but we try not to talk about pee-pee too much on the show.
Right. Well, that's
Pee-pee sherbet is the new Ben & Jerry's flavor. Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
That kind of segues brilliantly into the next question I had for you. And I know it's a podcast, you're visiting with these celebrities, and the pandemic this past year has caused a lot of us in the entertainment industry to kind of pivot and find out a new way to do things, learn a new way to do things. Did you experience any of that? Did you have to pivot away and learn a new skill during this time for your last meal?
Not really. I have to say, it kind of worked a little to my advantage because it's always hard to book celebrities, and all of a sudden nobody's on tour, nobody's shooting a movie, and everyone's at home and they are willing to talk to you. So at the beginning, I started booking all of these guests. I mean, of course, I'm not happy the pandemic happened, but that was a surprising side effect. And I guess we all just learned to use Zoom. So the nice thing was, if I couldn't interview someone in person, if they would have not been in the studio anyway, at least I got to look at them. And the audio quality is way better than when people would insist on using phones. Now people know that they can use Zoom instead of phones. So I think it was weirdly a positive.
And so many people have like home studios now too, where you dial in and they've got like the headphones and the arm with the mic and all the fun stuff. So everybody's a professional these days.
Exactly.
Do you think that anybody that you interviewed, anybody's answers shifted on their last meal because of the pandemic? Did they think more deeply about that question? I don't know. Anything like that come up?
So when I was listening to other podcasts that were usually lighthearted, entertaining podcasts, and they would ask the guests, how are you doing in the pandemic? I didn't like it. I would often turn it off because that was supposed to be my refuge to not think about it. So I rarely, if ever, brought up COVID or the pandemic with my guests. Maybe a couple times, asked them, how their cooking changed. But, if anybody listening is tired of the news, your last meal is a refuge. We don't talk about it. We pretend it's not happening.
That's a good selling point for a lot of people, just to kind of check out and continue. Like, the focus is on the food and the celebrity guests that you have.
Yeah.
So here's a question. In the 5 seasons you've been doing this, which congratulations, by the way, that's an amazing achievement. Is there any particular sort of genre of food? I don't know if it's a genre, but food that pops up constantly for your guests who say, and you're like, oh, it's bacon again, or something like that?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Things don't repeat that much. And that's what's so cool about it is most of the time the answers are a surprise because people will choose, something from their childhood. Like recently I had the band Lake Street Dive on.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love them. And the lead singer, she chose Ritz crackers smeared with cream cheese and covered with pickles because that was like an appetizer her mom would bring to parties in the 80s, and she loved it so much. And the drummer of the band chose chocolate covered pretzels because when he was a kid, he had a big crush on his babysitter, and they would make chocolate covered pretzels together. And so it turned into like a lifelong obsession. So people really come with personal things a lot of the time. I'll say the thing that's repeated the most is steak and ice cream. Those are maybe the 2 most popular, but out of like over 100 interviews, I mean, that's probably come up, 4 times. But I like when people come with unique things because I learn a lot about it. Like I said, we get into the history, and I'd never heard of banoffee pie before. Are you familiar with that dessert?
Yeah, banoffee pie is delicious.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before. And Gail Simmons, who's the judge on Top Chef, that's her last meal. And I learned that is a super common dessert in England. And for people who don't know, banoffee is banana and toffee in a portmanteau. So it's like a cookie crust and then this layer of toffee, or what do you call it? Like dulce de leche.
Yes.
And then layers of banana and whipped cream and then peanuts on top. And it is so good. And so I love learning about new things on the show. And then of course my listeners also are like, I made this, and we kind of all share what we cooked on Instagram.
Yeah, no, I love that, Rachel. So you've rattled off a lot of celebrities and a lot of people that I'm familiar with. Is there kind of a bucket list guest that you haven't had on the show yet, but you can't wait to speak to? Who would be on that list?
I want my Jews, man. I'm a Jewish girl, and I love Sarah Silverman, and I love Larry David, and those are my top 2 people who I want. And I haven't been able to break through yet. What I've learned, and maybe you've had the same experience, is that people only want to be interviewed when they have something that they're promoting. And so you kind of have to catch them when they have like a new movie or a new book out. And some people, like David Sedaris, for example, they don't really do interviews anymore. They don't need it. They don't
Right.
need the publicity.
They don't need the publicity.
So
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know if my Jews are out of reach forever, but you might have also had this experience. Sometimes it's hard to interview the people you love the most because you have this fantasy built up in your head and you don't want to have, a small talk interaction. You want to automatically bond and be best friends. And that doesn't happen very often. And so I think sometimes it's better to leave your heroes at arm's length because they can disappoint you. It's better to think of them as magical.
I know. I find that true as well with my TV show hat on. Sometimes the interviews that we have are so short. So I got to interview a couple of members of the Ted Lasso cast recently.
Oh my God, what a dream.
You just have to stick to the script and you can't waste their time or your time. But really, you just want to sit and chit chat with them and hear some interesting stories, which I'm sure you have a little bit more flexibility and the ability to do on your show, Your Last Meal. So if our viewers, Rachel, aren't familiar and they want to check it out, how can we listen to your podcast?
Yeah, well, if you already listen to podcasts, it's easy. You can listen wherever you already get your podcasts. It's called Your Last Meal, or you can go to yourlastmealpodcast.com. And you can follow along on Instagram. I'm Hello Rachel Bell, Belle.
I love that. Rachel, again, thank you for taking the time to visit with us. Fill us in on Your Last Meal. You do so much cool work. You get to speak to a lot of cool people. So we're fortunate to be able just to kind of live vicariously through you on our show. Thanks for taking the time to visit.
I'm so grateful to be here. I love you guys. Thank you for giving me a little Northwest Arkansas today.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay with us, folks. We do have food and fun. It's all happening later.
Our musical guest brought to you by Walton Arts Center. Walton Arts Center, presenting the West Street Live series.
Coming down, you take a sound and watch you looking my way. Really wanna keep it down, you look like you got something to say. Gotta get that high, keeps me alive. Don't really know it's being alone. Got me feeling alone. Tell me you deliver it, I wanna see what you got in store. You smoke me like a cigarette and then you put me out on the floor. Gotta get that high, keeps me alive. Just a number on the telephone. You got me feeling alone.
Welcome back, everybody. We are joined right now, Chef Royalty, Marty Schmidt here from Cafe New Orleans in Fayetteville. So glad you're here, Marty. What do you throw? You're already cooking. What are we making?
This is the Holy Trinity right here.
Oh, I love it. Remind us what that is again, for people who are not familiar.
Well, the traditional is onions, peppers, and celery. And then when you throw in garlic, it's the Holy Trinity.
Oh, I see. You stepped
So
it up.
we got the Holy Smokes up in here.
I love this.
And all that brown butter that you already had going in there. Oh,
A
man.
stick of butter. This is going to be crawfish étouffée.
Okay.
This is how we do it. Nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy,
boy,
but
is
all
it
delicious.
I
good.
mean,
It's
you
all
say
good.
nothing fancy, but it always ends up fancy.
Yeah.
Look at that mise en place there. You got all these little
Everything's
sprinklings.
a little bit of flour, a little bit of Paul Prud'homme, salt and pepper, a little green onion to garnish, and then these are the bad boys right here.
Love it. Yes.
Louisiana crawfish tails.
Now, they look like they're marinating in something. Have you already put them in some kind of sauce or something?
No, that's just the liquid that it kind of comes off of it.
That's just their juice.
That's
bug
their-
juice.
That's their good stuff.
Mud bug juice.
And then we'll hit it with just a little bit of Tony Chachere's and Paul Prud'homme's, a little bit of flour, because this is going to make a bit of a roux.
Thicken it up.
Yeah.
Thicken it up just a bit.
And you do this every day, right? At Cafe New Orleans. This is one of
This
probably, I
is
would
on the
imagine.
menu. We got 2 or 3 dishes that are kind of tied into this one. We have just a regular crawfish étouffée. Then we have a catfish Cecile, which is a catfish fillet fried, and then it's plated on a bed of étouffée and rice. And then we have our brunch.
Yeah, of
we
course.
do
Award-winning brunch.
That's right.
We do eggs des amis, and that is English muffin, our own boudin, and then an egg, and then we top it with crawfish étouffée.
Des amis.
Des amis, my
I
friend.
wish we could invent smell-o-vision because the folks at home are missing out on what this smells like right here. But even, we've got our producer Dan nodding his head right there. It smells
Everybody
so
is
good.
getting hungry
Yeah, I
in the
know.
studio.
The stomachs are rumbling right now.
Stomachs
And you
are
can use
rumbling.
this kind of like as the building blocks to a lot of other Cajun dishes, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, everything pretty much starts off with butter,
Yeah,
and, and then the Trinity,
Yeah.
and that starts almost everything off. And then we're going to add a little bit of our own stuff like pepper, a little bit of salt.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not going to brown it too much.
And it doesn't, you just keep stirring, continuously
Right.
stirring.
And what's interesting is if you were making it in Lafayette, you would do a roux, a brown roux.
And that takes some time.
Takes a few minutes. But if you're doing it New Orleans style, then you wouldn't brown the roux, but you would add a little tomato paste.
Oh.
See, the Italians, they throw in that
So a
tomato
little bit,
paste.
even in Louisiana, there's differences in how you create this
Oh,
dish.
Well,
course.
Cajun Creole.
Cajun and
There
Creole
you
are
go.
not the
Yeah.
same.
And you were telling
Not
us
the
about
same.
that the last time you were on.
Yep, it's just a difference. Creole is basically city cooking. This is a pound of crawfish tails, Louisiana crawfish tails.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
And you can smell them. They smell.
Oh, they smell so good.
When that smell hits you, it's like heaven, right?
It is.
Just so good.
It is. And these are pretty much cooked already. So
You're just kind of warming them up and
we're gonna warm them up and let
bit of
them
water.
get into the Cajun hot tub there.
yeah, the Cajun hot tub.
So one thing that I've missed, though, I missed the annual gumbo cook-off.
I know.
Like, that was a sad time, because I competed last time.
Yep.
We didn't win.
Yeah, how did
or
you do?
Even get close, but we
But you
competed.
tried.
We tried, and we were proud of it.
Hey, look, any day you can get outside and cook gumbo outside on a beautiful day.
It was a
So
good
it's
day.
a-
it's
I
a
can't
good
wait
thing.
for that to come back.
Well, can we
It
talk
is
about
a
this
good
for a
thing.
minute? We got to talk about Cafe New Orleans and what
Okay.
you're doing there. And Bo mentioned this earlier, but you're an award-winning chef. You've recently picked up some awards. Your brunch is
Been
winning
on Food
awards.
Network.
Pretty good. Been on Food Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also hard to get a table there, right? You got to kind of call in advance and make sure to try to, because it's packed with people all the time, right?
Well, we only have 52 chairs.
Yeah.
So 52 people, the first 52 that get there get seated. Last night it was
A
pretty
little,
crazy.
yeah.
Fridays and Saturdays are crazy, and then Sunday brunch is kind of has a mind of its own. And you know, we've suffered just like everybody has in the past year, but you know, our credit is we live in a great community that supports us, and we have great customers. So after 20 years, people know where they're going to go on Friday night or Sunday
yeah.
brunch.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
that
So,
Sunday
yes.
brunch is, we're a big brunch town. Like
Yeah, culture here is
NWA,
brunch.
big
Right.
brunch. But there's no brunch quite like Cafe Rue brunch. You know, you can get waffles and scrambled eggs anywhere.
That's right.
But
Crispy bacon, Waffle House.
Yep,
Yeah.
but at Cafe Rue,
Cafe Rue, yeah.
you're going to get a brunch experience like none other.
Yes. Yes. And then this is really, I'm going to kind of bring it up to temp
Yeah.
and get it to bubble a little bit.
But nobody does it like you. You know exactly what to put in there.
And then you just plate it with some rice, yeah?
That's how
That's
we
it?
do it, yeah.
Oh, man. Why can't you just do brunch every day? The kitchen staff would love that, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they?
Let's do this. We'll do something fancy.
Ooh, I'm going to follow your lead. Can I do
Yes,
the
sir.
same thing? Okay.
Absolutely.
Get a little
Yeah,
peel
get a
off
little-
action.
Yeah.
I didn't do it quite as clean as you did, but
Oh, man. Hey, you just made it look so easy. Like, this would have taken me 9 days to make this in my own kitchen, and you're just like, da-da-da, da-da-da,
yeah,
da-da-da.
yeah. Added some
We-
flour, added some Tony Chachere's. You
We
good
try
to
to
go.
keep it simple.
Oh,
We
it's
do.
beautiful.
And that's how you would make it at your house for your family. I got to go in there.
Yeah. Oh,
Look at this,
Look
folks.
at
I hope
this,
you're getting a
guys.
shot of this on the camera because this is
look
this is
at
where it's at.
this.
This is what you want.
And putting it around the rice.
I know.
Look at that. Oh.
Well, you know, plating is everything, right?
Plating
'Cause
is everything.
You eat with your
I know,
eyes
and I've already
first.
messed this one up.
Nah, you're good.
All right,
that.
Marty, we're going to let you keep plating, and we're going to have a chance to try this when we come back from this short break. Stay with us, folks. We do have it all happening later. Thanks for tuning in later with Jason Suel. Remember, you can find us out there on your social media platforms. You can even send us an email over at laterwithjasonsuel.com. You can find exclusive content from the show on our YouTube channel. Smash that like button. And before we leave this episode, of course, we've got to thank our guests. I want to thank the amazing Rachel Bell for joining us all the way from Seattle, Washington.
And of course, Chef Marty Schmidt from Cafe Rue Orleans bringing us the
Oh
etouffee.
my gosh, I can't wait to dive into this. And also, we want to thank the band The Rumors. What a great music video provided to us by Lynn's Audio. That's our show. We'll see you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Let's eat this.